So I'm pleased to introduce the genuine article. Not any drop, nothing off of Twitter. The genuine article. One of the hosts of First Take on ESPN, our friend Stephen A. Smith, back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Stephen A. Smith?
What's going on, Rich? How you doing, man?
Oh, better for talking to you. Better for talking to you.
I just have one question before we continue, if you don't mind.
Please. You have the floor.
Have you spotted Michael Irvin? I mean, I think since yesterday afternoon, I've had an APB out for him. Can't find him. I usually can find him. He's usually very, very easy to find.
Yes, he is.
But not when the Cowboys lose. Suddenly, he just seems to fly under the radar. He disappears. He's in hiding.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an APB out for him just in case you spot him. Just let him know I've been looking for him.
Well, he has been texting with the Game Day Morning crew this morning. We've been going back and forth on Twitter. Interestingly enough, the Cowboys are not the subject matter. So potentially he might be texting from a fetal position, if I had to guess, Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I want to talk before about the actual Cowboys. Your process, Stephen A. I mean, your process in coming up with these videos right upon the Cowboys' misery just piling on. Walk me through your process, Stephen A. Smith. These videos?
Well, first of all, there's no real process. I mean, it hits me naturally. It's very impromptu, extemporaneous, right off the cuff.
Yes.
It's nothing planned whatsoever. I will tell you that the only thing that I want people to understand is that I understand that the Dallas Cowboys seem like they're the ones directly assaulted by me. It's really not aimed at them. It's aimed at Dallas Cowboy fans everywhere. I sincerely mean from the bottom of my heart, I don't care whether you're young or old, black, white, Hispanic, doesn't matter to me. I think that Dallas Cowboy fans are the worst, most disgusting, most nauseating fan base in American history. Nobody disgusts me more than a Cowboy fan because they never, ever, ever take a moment to smell their own stench. This is a team that hasn't won a Super Bowl since 1995, and they walk around like they're the reigning defending Super Bowl champions every single year. They could finish a season on January 5th. It could end at approximately 7 p.m., and by 7:15, and their season might have been 3-13. It might have been 4-12 if we're deferring to the past. And somehow, some way, within 15 minutes, they're like, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year, right? This is who they are. They are just absolutely positively disgusting. I love Dak Prescott.
Yes.
Ezekiel Elliott was a stud. I actually am very, very fond of Jerry Jones. I didn't like the fact that there was an APB out for him when all of the social justice issues were propping up and all of that, so we couldn't find him for a couple of months. But I'm very fond of Jerry Jones and his son Steven. But those damn Cowboy fans, I can't stand them. And I think last year was the greatest holiday season I've had in my adult life when the Cowboys lost leading into Thanksgiving to Buffalo, and they kept losing all the way through Christmas. I don't know if I've ever enjoyed both Thanksgiving and Christmas more in my entire life.
Stephen A. Smith here on the Rich Eisen Show. That deserves a round of applause. I'm applauding. There's a couple of things I want to pull out of that, though. A couple of strands to pull on here. First things first. You say there's no process. So you were literally eating milk, drinking milk with cookies and eating cookies, watching the fourth quarter of that game, or did you say, you know what, I'm just going to grab the cookie and pan the shot over?
No, not at all. What happened is that I'm in L.A.
Yes.
I'm officially bi-coastal, so I'm in L.A. about 10 to 12 days a month.
Okay.
And while I was out, anytime I'm out here, my high school buddy, he and I have been great friends since high school, since 1980, since early 1980s. He lives here in Cali, and he has this wonderful, wonderful wife named Nina, who always cooks me a home-cooked meal.
Okay.
And it's the same meal every time I show up. It's some chicken wings, some macaroni and cheese, some string beans, all right? And I got my lemonade while a football game is on. And when I finish eating that, she always brings me chocolate chip cookies with my milk.
Oh.
So at this particular moment in time, I'm eating my chocolate chip cookies and milk. And then the next thing you know, the Cleveland Browns, who were in the midst of blowing a 41-14 lead because Dallas pulled within 3. They, the next thing you know, the Cowboys give up the end around to Odell Beckham Jr., who scared for 50 yards for the touchdown. At that particular moment in time was when I had just started eating my chocolate chip cookies with the milk. And that's why I said, let me make this video right here. It just seems so apropos. Why would I turn this down? And that's what I did.
Okay, and then now I've got a Dallas Cowboy fan here, Rich Eisen Show social media extraordinaire Grand Maester TJ Jefferson, who
my condolences to him.
Well,
okay.
TJ is reasonable. I do want to say that. I mean, you're right, but you did say 5 years ago, though, you were thoroughly just like every other Cowboy fan that Stephen A. has.
I probably resembled the remarks that he made.
Okay,
But I mean, nobody feels that way anymore, man. And
really?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah. Did I pick them to win the Super Bowl this year?
Nobody
yes.
feels what way?
Did I mean it? No.
What way? He's like, what way did they feel?
I just don't see a whole I'm on Cowboys Twitter a lot. I see a bunch of angry and annoyed Cowboy fans. I don't see Cowboys fans like walking around like thinking we're the Chiefs or something. Like,
yeah. What do you think, Stephen?
Oh my Lord! I don't know you. And I don't mean to cast any aspersions on you as a human being. I'm sure you're a very nice, highly intelligent dude, and if you're working with my buddy Rich Eisen, I'm sure that you're a great guy. But for this particular subject, you are a damn liar. There is no way that you can say with a straight face that you don't run into Cowboy fans think like that. Cowboy fans are the most arrogant, disgusting, nauseating fan base you could possibly find. You never take a second to smell your own stuff. And I'm just looking at here, one of the great moments that I had.
Yes.
All right. Remember 2010 when you ended up going 6-10? But then those weren't my favorite years with the Cowboys because I actually liked the Cowboys when the playmaker and Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman were there and stuff like that. And Primetime came over from San Francisco and all of this other stuff. But here was my favorite moment, 2011, 2012, 2013. Not only did the Dallas Cowboys finish 8-8 each season, they had the last game of the regular season with the division crown on the line and lost all 3 years to each of the teams in the division. 1 year was the Redskins, another year was the Giants, another year was the Eagles. Now, it doesn't get much sweeter than that. And even then, y'all still walked around. We'll be back next year. You'll see. And it doesn't matter, Rich. It doesn't matter whether it's some young punk. It doesn't matter whether it's somebody that's middle-aged, that's been around because they're still living off of Roger Staubach and then Troy Aikman. It could even be Stephen A. Smith landing at the airport at DFW, and it's an older black woman in her 70s that comes up to me. I don't like how you talk about my Cowboys. And I'm telling you right now, they're going to win, damn it. You see. Now, what am I supposed to do? My mama raised me, right? I'm not going to disrespect my elders like that, especially an elderly lady. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
So I had to sit there while waiting for my baggage claim. I don't know of anybody in this profession who can literally lament that they have been heckled by a 70-plus-year-old black woman. But that happened to me, all because of the Cowboys.
Stephen A. Smith here on the Rich Eisen Show, and I have to call the fight a little bit here, Stephen, because TJ is also a Clipper fan, and it's just been a rough stretch. It's just a rough stretch right now for him. But he's also a Sixer fan, so his Clippers mess got him Doc Rivers, hopefully to clean up his Sixer mess.
How can you be a fan of both?
TJ?
Born and raised in Altoona, Pennsylvania, Stephen A. Moved to L.A. 21 years ago. Hated the Lakers, who, in my opinion, have the worst fan base. You don't live out here all the time. If you did, you would see what I was saying. But on those 10 to 12 days, you're going to find that out. Especially let them win, and I think you're going to flip it. You're going to say these Laker fans who haven't done anything in almost a decade are the most obnoxious fan base. But that's another point.
Stop right there. Stop right there. The Los Angeles Lakers last won a title in 2010. That's
a
not
decade.
1995. The Los Angeles Lakers have 16 titles en route to number 17. The Los Angeles Lakers, historically, from the days of George Mikan to Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West and Elgin Baylor, to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Irvin Magic Johnson and James Worthy, to Kobe and Shaq, to Kobe and Pau Gasol, now to LeBron. Practically every single decade, they have given you a superstar to root for, and they have been relevant. Whereas your Cowboys, who call themselves America's team.
Well, someone else called us that.
The United States of America, the greatest nation on God's green earth in most of our eyes. This is what we hear. This is what we've been told. This is what we believe. They are supposed to be the face of America, and they have walked in mediocrity for a quarter century. How could you possibly compare the two?
Well, what's that say about the rest of the NFL, though? We haven't won a title since '95, and yet how many teams have more Super Bowls than us? So what has everyone else's team been doing in this 25 years that we've been sucking?
You dominated in the 70s. And first of all, you won a couple of rings. You lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers on a couple of occasions. Let's not forget that. But the other thing is that, you know what, you had a good stretch with Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones over that 4-year period and stuff where you won 3 Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. I got that. But but basically that's it. You know, for example, when we talk about America's team, do you think you compare to the New England Patriots?
Well, I think.
Of course you do.
No, that's not even close. That's not even close.
Right. And by the way, their name is Patriots, not Cowboys. So when we talk about America and patriotism and things of that nature, the Patriots seems more apropos than Cowboys.
Stephen A. Smith here on the Rich Eisen Show. I would be remiss before I let you go if I did not ask you your thoughts on Jimmy Butler's performance and if you think this could be a potential series changer at all, Stephen A. What do you think?
I think his performance was spectacular. I think he deserves a lot of credit for it. It was a phenomenal performance. He showed up and showed out, had a triple-double, 40, 13, and 11. There's no denying that. The flip side to it is that I do still think they are the inferior team. If the Lakers make perimeter shots, this series ends in 5 games. They're lucky they got the one that they got. I just think they're overmatched. And even with Jimmy Butler's greatness, I still think they would have lost the game if Anthony Davis had shown up and didn't act like he was comatose. I don't know what the hell was wrong with him last night, but in the end, if Anthony Davis gives you anything, I don't think Miami can beat this team, and I think it ends at 5. I originally predicted it would end in 6. I'm still hopeful because I can't stand annihilations in championship rounds. Right. I like competitiveness. But in the end, I think the Lakers are a far superior team, and I think Jimmy Butler talking the way that he talked to LeBron and then taking it to LeBron the way that he did, because LeBron was guarding him a vast majority of the time in the fourth quarter. To abuse LeBron James like that, if you know anything about LeBron James, you should expect him to come back with a vengeance and make amends, and that's what I suspect they will do in Game 4, and that's why I think the Lakers will win it.
No, obviously the whole conversation about LeBron is about where he stood for the last 10 seconds of the game and where he went for the last second and a half. What are your 2 cents on that subject, Stephen A?
It came across to me as a little bit classless, but primarily because it was him. We've seen Bird walk off the court and McHale and those guys without shaking hands. We've seen Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons obviously do so. It would be far worse if the series had ended and he walked off that way. But knowing that he's got a couple of games to continue in this series, and they were going to play again tomorrow night and stuff like that, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it is a big deal because it's LeBron, though. LeBron is class personified. LeBron has been the standard bearer for quite some time, and the manner in which he has conducted himself is something that people view as the model on how to actually do things. So for him to veer away from that and to do something like that is fine, but I do believe, what he said was very, very accurate. He was frustrated with his play. It wasn't directed towards the Heat or anything like that, and I think it's very, very believable because Jimmy Butler busted his you-know-what in Game 3, and it was some of it was directly with LeBron James guarding him. And so as a result, for him to be so thoroughly outplayed the way he was by Jimmy Butler, that is the kind of thing that can frustrate the greatest player in the world, who is not accustomed at all to having it given to him the way that Jimmy Butler gave it to him last night. So it's believable. It's easy to stomach. We can understand it. We'll see what happens in Game 4.
Stephen A., really appreciate the time. When I speak to Irv, I'll send him your regards when he comes up for air.
Please do. Keep playing that sermon music when he's preaching. You know, because every time he preaches about the Cowboys, somehow they don't answer his prayers.
I loved how you chimed in. We showed your tweet during NFL Game Day morning 2 weeks ago when Irv's take after beating the Falcons was it kept Mike McCarthy undefeated in Dallas. I called him out on that. You took straight to your thumbs on your phone and you rightfully called him out. I mean, it really he is definitely out of his mind when it comes to the Cowboys. You're right.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. No objectivity whatsoever. But that's okay. That means the pain will come his way too. He'll be miserable. He will suffer the way he deserves to suffer, believing in these boys. And that's the way it'll go.
And
tell Mike McCarthy to get a new defensive coordinator, by the way. This guy just got the job from Green Bay. And who do you pick as your defensive coordinator? A guy that hadn't been a defensive coordinator since 2014. By the way, when he left the Atlanta Falcons, he had the 31st ranked defense. He's out of a coordinator's job for 6 years. And that's the guy you pick to be your coordinator? No wonder Dallas is losing.
Well, my wife would also be upset if I didn't say Susie says hello, Stephen A. So right
Give
back
her my
at
love.
you.
She's the best.
I will do that. And again, keep the videos coming. Those cookies do look delicious. Look square. They looked square to me, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's what it was, but
they look good.
Those are great.
I don't give a damn how they look. They taste delicious.
You're the best, Stephen A. Smith. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Right back.
Go Cowboys.
There you go, Stephen A. Smith. Oh, wow, look at you. Going out the door. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.